Bloodborne, Sony's new AAA title to be released on the PS4, is developed by From Software Studios, a company well known for the Souls series, and also the brutally difficult yet rewarding gameplay. So does From Software live up to the hype behind this game, or does the game fall short and disappoint? Bloodborne is graphically impressive, however it is not the most beautiful thing on the PS4. What does make this game stand out though is the atmosphere. The atmosphere is so bleak, dark, and filled with despair, it feels like no matter what corner I turned, I was always in danger. This atmosphere is amplified by the architecture design From Software decided to go with, a gothic, Victoria-era buildings litter the city of Yarma. But Bloodborne is not just comprised of giant city landscapes. On your journey you will also go through environments such as forests, giant castles, and mountainous regions. The particles and attention to detail in the game really make the world stand out and feel alive. The monster design for the enemies is also exquisite in a disgusting and disturbing way. Anything from the normal human enemies, to the monsters, to everyday wildlife. The monster design in this game is absolutely creepy, and I love it. The presentation of the game is phenomenal in every sense of the word. Now on to the gameplay. From Software has been known for making games that are extremely difficult yet rewarding. Ever since Dark Souls 1 came out, they have had the formula perfected, and Bloodborne is no exception. Every time I died, even though I would get frustrated, I would go back for more because I realized it is not the game's fault, it is truly my fault. So next time I approached the boss, I would try a different strategy and see how that would work. If it worked, I would jump up and scream to the heavens, and if it didn't work, I would have to go back to the drawing board and start all over. Starting over can mean different things in Bloodborne. It can mean taking a different approach to the boss, or upgrading your character. While there aren't as many upgrade options in Bloodborne as there are in the Souls series, the Bloodborne upgrades are a lot more streamlined and user-friendly. That by all means doesn't make the game easier. One thing I do miss, however, is the ability to upgrade your attire. Yes, you can upgrade your weapons to +10, but I wish you could upgrade your armor as well. You can also place these stones on your weapon that will increase certain stats of the weapon, such as do more physical damage, lightning damage, and etc. These stones allow for complete customization of the weapons and allows you to cater each weapon towards your playstyle. Another thing Bloodborne allows you to do is equip these runes that work a lot like the rings from the Souls series. In fact, it is safe to say the runes replace the rings. These runes give your character better stats or enhancements such as carry more potions, increase stamina, increase health, and etc. The combat in Bloodborne is a lot more in your face and quicker than the Souls games, which made this Souls vet uncomfortable in a good way. I love the combat in Bloodborne because it required you to remain on your toes at all costs. However, sometimes I do feel the camera is slightly janky, especially when I am fighting a big boss. The coolest thing about Bloodborne though is the chalice dungeons. These are randomized dungeons that have different tiers and challenge the player in different ways. Each chalice has 3 bosses that come with it, and during the playthrough of the chalice I found myself looking for materials in order to craft the next chalice dungeon. Overall, chalice dungeons definitely stood out to me, and the combat is absolutely exquisite. Now on to the story. The story is constructed in a way to where you can completely ignore it, or you can delve yourself straight into everything Bloodborne. If you want to delve into the story, it requires reading the lore behind all the objects in the game and finding these notes on the floor that explain bits and pieces of the story. I personally like this approach for the story because it's there if you want it, but if you just want to play the game, you can completely ignore the story altogether. Not to mention, this game has multiple endings and a bunch of hidden subplots in the game that will make you always be wanting to come back for more and find out what's really going on in Bloodborne. Now onto the functionality. The game runs beautifully for the most part. My only complaints about this game really come from the functionality of it. For instance, loading screens are way too long. Each death is like torture just because of the loading screens. The online takes way too long to connect with someone. Even if you put a password on it, it still took me and my friend 15 minutes to connect. And yes, we met all the requirements. Also, the frame rate dips a little bit, but not so much that it ruins the gameplay experience. However, in a game like this, frame rate needs to be steady. Other than those things, the game runs flawlessly and is an absolute blast. Overall, Bloodborne is a bloody masterpiece. The setting is absolutely phenomenal and rich with detail. The combat is fast-paced and keeps the player engaged. The story and lore is vibrant if you wish to delve into it. The only thing stopping this game from being perfect is the loading screen, server issues, and frame rate dips. But those are only minor things. This game is a must-own for every PS4 owner, and it deserves a 9.5 out of 10. Join us next time at the round table.